Thank you.
I get everybody's attention. Will all trustees please take their seats? We got a lot on the agenda tonight. Mr. Torres, welcome. Good picture. I'll now call to order the regular meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Texas Southmost College District. Trustees present tonight are Mr. Eduardo Campidano, Mr. Chester Gonzalez, I'm sorry to say for the last time, Ms. Adela Garza, Dr. Roberto Robles is on his way, I believe, Mr. Rene Torres, and Ms. Rosemary Breedlove. Also present is our president, Dr. Juliet Garcia. At this time, I'm going to tell you, we're going to whiz through this this agenda in record time because we want to get over to the Fine Arts Center by 6:30 for the swearing in. So this time I'll call on Dr. Alan Artebis, the provost, to make the introduction.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, and guests. It's with great pleasure that I bring to you a new member of the senior administrative team here at UTB TSC. Renee Villarreal has been named the Associate Vice President for Enrollment Management. Renee, please join me. It's particularly pleasant to indicate that Renee is one of our own. He's been with the university for 14 years and has served in several leadership positions, including as interim Associate Vice President, as well as Director of Admissions. In this new role, he oversees offices critical to our students, including admissions, testing, new student relations, and student financial assistance. It's not an easy job. He hopes to increase our enrollment through student recruitment, the use of social media, and web-based seminars for international students. And he's already had some quick success during our cost containment and resource generation initiatives by helping to oversee the phasing out of paper course schedules and applications to move to electronic documents. Renee also plans to increase collaboration with the university's colleges and schools to develop more degree offerings, especially doctorate degrees. A native of Brownsville, Renee is a product of our community university. He earned a bachelor's in business administration and a master of education from UTB TSC, and he's presently working on his doctorate in leadership studies at Our Lady of the Lake University in San Antonio. I would ask Renee just to say a few words to the board.
Dr. Garcia, Chairman Oliveira, members of the board, thank you all very much. Please know that my door is always open. I've been a product of this university, a member of this community, and I look forward to continuing the mission and the vision of this institution. I give you my full commitment on continuing the growth and success of this institution. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Renee. Welcome. I'm glad they told me you'd been here 14 years because you look like you just graduated from college. You're young.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to just say a few words. I've known Renee since he was a kid, since he got here.
He's still a kid.
Yeah. And I know of his work and his service to this institution, and I really I'm glad Dr. Garcia and Alan there were promoting from within, and this is the right person for the job, and I congratulate you, Renee. Thank you. Thank you.
We'll make him look older soon.
Guaranteed.
Yeah, wait till you see pictures 16 years from now. Hope you don't gain as much weight as I did. I'm going to lose it. Okay. Thank you, Renee, and welcome. The next item is we have a board briefing, and I'm going to call on Ms. Melanie Linder, Associate Vice President for Marketing and Communication, to make the introduction.
Mr. Chairman, distinguished trustees, Dr. Garcia, Dr. Artebis, at the start of this past academic year, the university's Integrated Marketing Committee received a request to consider School Color Fridays. To give you a little background, the Integrated Marketing Committee is made up of representatives from each division who meet on a monthly basis to discuss marketing efforts, to promote messages that are consistent with our strategic goals, and to encourage collaboration between offices. So at the end of fall semester, when Dr. Hodgson's contacted me to discuss if there was a campaign project for her campaign class that could benefit the university, I immediately said yes. For who better to tell us how to build school spirit than our own students? Dr. Hodgson is an assistant professor in the communication department who has been at UTB TSC part-time for a number of years, but has been with us full-time since 2008. Her teaching experience includes applied communication, interpersonal communication, and communication campaign. Allow me to turn over the presentation at this time to Dr. Nikki Hodgson, who will introduce you to some of our outstanding students who have developed a plan for Scorpion Traditions.
Mr. Chairman, Dr. Garcia, Texas Southmost trustees, we are so delighted to have been invited to present to you all how to promote school spirit at UTB-TSC. And we've had two of our students have been selected to represent the entire campaigns class. The campaigns class is challenged to put together a complete plan, and they have to take also theory, everything they've learned in their different classes, as well as all the skills, and come up with a campaign to promote, in this case, school spirit. So I don't want to steal their thunder, but let's take, you guys come down. We've got Celsa Rodriguez, who is a graduate, and she will be attending SMU Law School.
Wow. All right.
And then we've got Juliana Sosa, who also just graduated, and she will be attending law school at Texas.
South Texas.
South Texas.
Wow.
Okay, girls, take it away.
Hello, Dr. Garcia, Chairman Oliveira, members of the board. Thank you very much for listening to our campaign. I will begin briefly by going through an executive summary. As numbers show, enrollment at UTB-TSC has increased greatly, and with it, a need for a more unified sense of school spirit. Through the Scorpion Traditions campaign, we aim to promote school spirit by upholding existing traditions and promoting school colors and apparel. I will turn it over to Juliana, who will discuss the research and the competitive analysis.
I just present it. Good afternoon, Dr. Garcia, Chairman Oliveira, members of the board. Nice to see you on this side of the podium.
Yeah. Not covering me.
Okay. I was research director in the class, so a big part of my job was conducting research. Through the consumer analysis, we have the enrollment. We looked mainly at the enrollment and age group, and then we conducted our own survey. In spring 2010, there were 11,607 students enrolled at UTB-TSC, which was an increase of nearly 10%, or 1,167 students. We excluded in our campaign the 2,194 dual enrollment students simply because they don't attend classes on campus, but they're not to be forgotten entirely. Then we looked at the age group. The university is really diverse when it comes to age. The largest group is ages 18 to 25, which makes up 41% of the student population, which is roughly 4,510 students. The second largest group are ages 18 and under, which makes up 35%. And the third largest are ages 26 to 35, which make up 15%. And 6% are ages 35 through 45, and then we have a small percentage, 3%, over 45 years of age. Now, the second largest age group is dual enrollment students. Once again, those were excluded. But the main one was ages 18 through 25. So these age groups can be targeted through different campaign strategies. For instance, the second largest group, 18 to 25, or no, actually the largest group, 18 to 25, are more inclined to use online social media, so they can be targeted through an online campaign. And this is something we'll cover briefly later. So finally, we have the Scorpion Innovation Survey, and that's something that we actually conducted. We first looked at the secondary research conducted by UTB-TSC Marketing Communication Division, and then also the Anderson Marketing Group. From that information, a questionnaire was conducted and distributed to survey students, and we wanted to find out three things, which was where students hang out on and off campus, what kind of apparel they own or would like to own, and then there's perception of school spirit on campus. So what we did also was have a competitive analysis, so we looked at other universities in the region. We compared them with Texas A&M Kingsville, UT Pan American, Texas A&M Corpus Christi, among others. These schools come from the same economic background, similar to that of UTB-TSC, and the student bodies of the institutions are mostly Hispanic and within the geographic proximity to U.S.-Mexico border and the Gulf of Mexico. So if you can see here at Texas A&M, they have what's called a Spirit and Traditions Committee. And that committee is comprised of athletic director, the director for student union activities, director of resident life, the director of alumni affairs, and 2 faculty members, 3 students, and 1 staff member at large. So the function of that committee is to develop positive activities and events on campus, and to promote campus pride and so on and so forth. They also have a Javelina camp. It's a 3-day camp for students, specifically for incoming freshmen where they can bond. And then they have a cheer team. And they also have a mascot. It's not listed up there, but they do. And then Pan Am has an awesome cheerleading squad. And they also have what's called the University Program Board. It's student-run. It offers a diverse program of cultural, social, and educational and recreational nature. So the incentive is to be part of the organization, to gain experience and opportunity to develop leadership, teamwork, event coordination, publicity, and marketing skills. And it consists of about 5 or 6 members. And they serve as all-campus programming organization. So they report to the Vice President for Enrollment and Student Services. And they also, the Bronx also have a mascot, as you can clearly see in that picture right there. And then Texas A&M Corpus Christi has an Islander cheer dance team. They have the Islander Diamonds, which is like a financial group that raises money for the baseball team. And then they have Izzy, the Islander mascot. So these are the competitors we have as far as school spirit on campus, and we looked at their model for school spirit and what they did, and we saw what we compared it to what we have here on campus. So some of the problems we identified through the research that we conducted was that there's low attendance at athletic games and events on campus. Specifically, the average number for athletic games is 300 per game. That's baseball, soccer, volleyball, and at events 200. I got these from Ronnie Zamora. And then, like if you compare that to just the age group from 18 to 25, that's 4,000 students, 300 people compared to 4,000. That's approximately like 8% attendance just from that age group. So then we don't have a cheerleading squad, we don't have a performing mascot. Those are straightforward spirit figures on campus. And then not enough students wear UTB TSC apparel and accessories. And then there's a lack of coordination and communication between students and the university as far as coordinating websites and so on and so forth. So those are some of the problems. But don't worry, because there's opportunities. We have new buildings that can be utilized to run in-house advertisements, for instance. We have the rec center over here. It has lots of LCD screens. We have a bunch of LCD screens all over campus. We can run in-house advertisements, such as promoting like an event happening that day or that week, student organizations on campus. These could be run on the loop. Maybe on a particular day, like Spirit Day, wear your shirts on that day. The students can be working out, watching it, while simultaneously listening to Sting Radio, which runs spots like promoting events and so on and so forth. So that's one thing that we could do, utilizing these new buildings that we have. And then there's online social media. There's the that can be used to generate feedback from students and also be used as a forum for discussion. And it can be used to host online contests such as YouTube. Send us a video of you showing your school spirit on campus. Grand prize, $100. It's simple, fun, and people are online computer literate, so it would be something fun and easy to engage the student body. So finally, we do have students here that we could recruit to be part of the Scorpion Traditions Council, which is the main proposal of this whole campaign that would really bring everything together. And what they would do will promote, their job is to promote and uphold the traditions and legacies here on campus. So I'm gonna throw it over to Celsa, and she will talk to you a little bit more about what it is specifically that we proposed under this campaign.
Like Juliana mentioned, we have the Scorpion Traditions Council. The purpose of the council is to preserve, uphold, and promote existing traditions. The main duties of the council are to maintain the council's website and design the promotional items to be distributed at the various events. Now, part of the Traditions Council, we have a thing called Spirit Day. A very important initiative that we would like to see, if any, would be Spirit Day, because this can be a day where faculty, staff, and students wear school colors, school apparel. We decided that it would be a good thing to do it on a Wednesday or Tuesday, because according to enrollment, that's when most students are enrolled for classes. There's also the proposal of the grander version of Spirit Day, which are some of the events that you see up on the screen. This would be held twice a year, once every semester, and we would have like picnic at the gazebo decorating contest, and the Scorpion Spirit contest. Now, we wanted to hold one event called Name the Scorpion. That, of course, would only be held once. And but that would be like part of the first grand version of Spirit Day. But weekly we would have a day where everyone's encouraged to wear school colors. Now, in order to save money, we propose utilizing the resources that we currently already have. We have printing in-house, the Collegian, like Juliana mentioned, the TV monitors, our university website, and Sting Radio. Okay, this is majority of female students.
You woke Mr. Campirano and Mr. Gonzalez up.
The majority.
Bob, you waited till the very last meeting to do this.
Now they want to run again.
Well, the majority of our female students feel that the free t-shirts that are given away are too large for them. And so we came up with this brochure where you can turn the free t-shirts into a dress or a tube top or a skirt. Our team member who came up with the concept, she also has other ideas on how to create different designs and even turn them into purses and things like that. So she's very creative as far as that goes. And this we thought could be giving out at events, where we're giving out free t-shirts. Now, of course, Facebook. Using Facebook and other social networking sites, the university could ask the campus community questions that could generate responses and frequently update its events and activities. Right now on Facebook, we see a lot of lack of coordination between the many sites that the university has. Like sports aren't linked to like the main university site, so the events, they differ. So, the face of the university should be represented through, we called our mascot Scorpy, just to give it a name. And the persona would allow the interaction between the institution and the students. Now, several restaurants currently offer discounts to students, but we called them and they agreed to participate during Spirit Day, giving out extra discounts for people who wear school colors and school apparel. Okay. Now, currently, as Juliana mentioned, there are between 200 and 300 students who attend events, whether they're athletic or traditional events. Now, by employing this campaign, we propose a 10% increase within the academic year. And some of the ways to keep track of the improvement would be just attendance at events, sales of merchandise at Barnes & Noble, and student surveys. So that's our Traditions campaign, and I hope that at least some of our initiatives will be employed, and we hope that it will, bring benefit to the university now that we're gone. But thank you very much for your time.
It's a fabulous idea and fabulous presentation. Mr. Torres and I were sitting at the last baseball game, and we're saying we got to think of a way. We got good teams, and we have a great baseball team. They're going onto the playoffs. So we had a great soccer team, and we got to find a way to get not just our students, but the community out to our games. And all these things you propose are brilliant. I wish I was that smart and thought of some. No, it's good, and we're going to miss you guys, and Jillian, miss you at the meetings. And thanks for all your good work and excellent presentation.
All right, thank you. Do you guys have any questions?
Mr. Torres?
Well, I just wanted to also make sure that all of us understand that spirit is certainly positive spirit is critical to the health of the university. And as David spoke earlier, we were sitting in this baseball game and we wanted more spirit and it wasn't there. Unfortunately, money drives the amount of projects that you can implement. And I think I want to go back to the idea that Eddie had mentioned about a year ago, that we may look at hiring somebody at the developmental board level to work on securing funds for projects such as this, or maybe for athletic projects. But I think that, again, money drives the amount of projects that you can implement. And Eddie, do you remember the idea that you had mentioned in the concept?
Yeah, kind of looking at non-traditional projects, such as, you know, I know we dedicate a lot of resources to some of the more traditional scholarships, of course, the fine arts, but, you know, there's other needs, athletics we've talked about, but even some projects like this where, you know, I think if you had, you know, some money or a budget to work with, that could be helpful. You know, we do fund, I think, institutional development to the tune of $250,000 or something a year, so maybe that'd be one area for you all to look at down the road.
Absolutely, and I think some of these things you proposed can be implemented without a lot of money, and just, yeah, so that's the thing. I appreciate that, because we are, but we will.
Mr. Chairman, may I say something
Absolutely.
too? Ladies, thank you, really creative ideas, but not only sports, any kind of music, any kind of final, any kind of event. We loved, our students love to have everybody come and participate, whether it be art, whether it be sports, whether it be music, any kind of things that our students are presenting on. We want to have as many people as possible be there. Community and absolutely.
And I agree with you.
Absolutely.
And I think that this morning I was reading an article about laughter and how laughter can bring the spirit up. And spirit brings,
Absolutely.
you know, the spirit up of any university and the morale as well. So I thank you again for your presentation.
Great ideas.
We need a pencil.
Juliana grew up in my house eating my tortillas.
Must have been low-cal tortillas.
They were like in third and fourth grade, and it's amazing how
No, they grow, huh?
to see them grow up. And,
Got a lost them.
yeah.
Well, we have no matters for executive session tonight, so we're going to jump all the way to item number 5, speakers to agenda items and public discussion. Max, anybody? No speakers, okay. Item number 6 is approval of minutes of the previous meeting. I will entertain a motion.
Second.
Been moved by Mr. Campiano, seconded by Mr. Gonzalez to approve the minutes of the April 22nd meeting. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. The next item is regarding board policy, and I'll call on Dr. Wayne Moore, Special Assistant to the Provost, to present the policies.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. These policies were presented at the previous board meeting, and Mr. Campiano had asked that we check to make sure that the policies as written meet or exceed any requirements, state or otherwise. And I did send these policies to the Long and Chilton, to Juan Mendoza. He reviewed them, reported back that these policies meet or exceed all of the requirements necessary. As a reminder, the only change in these policies is simply delegating having Dr. Garcia delegate authorization for signature to a designee instead of the Vice President for Partnership Affairs, a position which no longer exists.
Okay. And so there's...
We're not voting on this tonight, are we?
This is the second reading of the vote. Yes, ma'am. I mean, you can choose to.
I think that my recollection is Mr. Campiano had raised a question to see just a comparison, right?
Well, actually, my question was real simple, is we're talking about the TSC policies, and all I wanted to know whether our policies either met or exceeded state, and where if they did exceed them, then we would follow the TSC policy, and that was it. And so that was the reason I voted nay, just to hold it over so they could go check it, make sure, and then bring it back to us. But that was my question. And it was really more on the purchasing policies and the procurement policies. As far as the name change or the designee, that wasn't deal. It's just to making sure that, you know, we're following either our policies, and our policies better either meet or exceed the state standards for purchasing and procurement.
Mr. Chairman, I also wanted to comment on this. If we could table this so we could have our new two board members vote on this policy when they come in on our next meeting. That would be something that I'd like to also suggest, but again, that's up to the board to do that.
The only, I don't know why Mr. Campidano, Mr. Gonzalez shouldn't be allowed to, since the first reading was presented to them, and so I certainly trust their judgment, and it's
do this today.
Yeah.
You know, all respect to the new board members, they still need to know what we're all about, and I think that we've already discussed this through various committees to get these changes in place.
And just so we're, it's complete transparency, we're not changing anything. This is the only thing, the clarification. We were ready to vote last time. He had asked for a clarification just to make sure we met.
Yeah, and the only changes are those noted, where you're changing the vice president of Department of Affairs to designee. I mean, those are the only changes that are being made. There really isn't any substantive changes to the rules or the policies. It's just that I wanted to make sure that we were in compliance with our state procurement standards, that's all.
Okay.
Any discussion?
Yeah.
If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve on second reading the policies as presented.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay. Been moved by Dr. Robles, seconded by Ms. Breedlove. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
So we have, because I think if we get 5, we...
No, that would have been the last policy with the last.
Okay, that's correct.
We
We
would
don't
have
need
had
5 for
unanimous,
this.
you wouldn't have to have second reading.
That's correct,
but
that's correct.
Since we didn't have unanimous, that's why we have it on our agenda for this
Okay,
meeting.
that's correct. Okay, so that it passes. The next item on the agenda is Physical Facilities Committee, and I'll call on Mr. Chester Gonzalez to make the report.
Defer that to Mr. Campidano.
I'm sorry.
The Physical Facilities Committee met on Tuesday, May 11th. Present were Mrs. Rosemary Breedlove, Mr. Chester Gonzalez, Dr. Wayne Moore, Ms. Veronica Mendez, Mr. Abraham Hernandez, Ms. Patricia Sanchez, and myself. The first item for discussion was the Oliveda window library replacement. Ms. Veronica Mendez reported that as part of the renovation of the Oliveda library, various building systems were inspected and planned for repair. The inspections demonstrate that various windows on the second floor needed to be replaced. Ms. Mendez stated that a total of 21 windows were being proposed to be replaced with high-impact resistant glass, hurricane-proof glass. Ms. Mendez reported that 2 bids were received in time for the project, and 2 were received late and were not opened or considered due to policy. Ms. Mendez also explained that the proposed budget will be funded by restricted insurance allocation for fiscal year 2010. You see the information and the backup on the bids are in your package. The committee recommends, and I move to accept the bid proposal and award of contract to John Wyatt Company in the amount of $46,963.57, and to authorize the Associate Vice President for Facilities and Planning to execute the contract.
Second.
There's a motion to approve the contract as stated by Mr. Campidano, seconded by Ms. Breedlove. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
The next item for discussion was the parking lot improvements. Ms. Mendez explained that upon demolition of the former Resaca Club, the area became available for parking lot improvements. She also explained that in order to take advantage of the existing parking surface, the plan was expanded to include renovations of existing parking for better flow of traffic. She also stated that part of the parking improvements needs on campus, including numerous other parking lot repairs, were identified. The parking lot repairs were incorporated into the bid to achieve savings by reducing mobilization overhead expenses. Bids were sent out. There was a total of 4 bids submitted, I believe. It's in your package. The recommendation was to accept the low bid by R&R Paving Company. It is inclusive of both the base bid, Alternative 1 and Alternative 2. The committee recommends, and I move to accept the bid proposal from R&R Paving Company and award the contract in the amount of $213,898.82, and to authorize the Associate Vice President for Facilities and Planning to execute the contract.
Second.
It's a motion by Mr. Campidano, seconded by Ms. Breedlove to award the contract in the amount stated. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Last item for discussion, my favorite subject, budget amendments. the budget amendments for fiscal year 2010 were presented. Dr. Moore reported that these budget amendments reflect transfer of funds to funds for projects that have already been approved by the board, and that all projects remain within budgeted amounts. As expenses come in for the various projects, funds need to be moved from the general fund to the campus facilities fund to accurately account for the expenses in the current year. The budget amendments reflect adequate budget for expected expenses until the end of the fiscal year. Mr. Board gave a brief, Dr. Moore provided a brief explanation of each of the budget amendments. The committee recommends and I move to accept budget amendment number 10-005, number 10-006, number 10-007, and number 10-008 for fiscal year 2010 as presented.
There's a motion by Mr. Capiano. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Breedlove. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Capiano. At this time, the next item we have is the Audit Committee, and Mr. Gonzalez, are you to report on this one?
Yes, I am, Mr. Chairman. The Audit Committee met on May the 4th. President were René Torres, Dr. Juliet V. Garcia, Dr. Alan Artabiz, Dr. Wayne Moore, and myself. The first item discussed was on the selection of external auditors for fiscal year 2010 audit. Dr. Moore reported that the district received 3 proposals for the auditing services for the current fiscal year from Patillo, Brown and Hill, Long Chilton, and BKD CPAs and advisors. Staff is recommending Patillo, Brown and Hill as they are highly qualified, presented a thorough and comprehensive proposal, and received the highest rating on the staff evaluation matrix. Dr. Moore reported that although the district has had a successful relationship with our current auditing firm, staff is recommending the change. So the committee recommends that I move to accept the proposal by Patillo and Brown to provide services as auditor for fiscal year 2010 in the amount of $30,000 with an option to extend each year for up to a maximum of 4 years as presented.
Second.
So motion by Mr. Capiano, second by Mr. Torres.
Motion by Mr. Gonzalez.
I'm sorry, Mr. Gonzalez, and second by Mr. Torres. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to at this time take just a brief moment to thank Long Chilton for their services, also Mr. Juan Mendoza for being so diligent and representing us on these audit committees.
Thank you. And I'd like to also thank him and kind of, I guess, a little background on this. I think I remember about 1996 that I believe it was probably Long Chilton that had the contract for a while, and we just felt like it was good to give other people the opportunity to, so that you always have competitive proposals and you always give other people chances. So this is not a reflection, obviously, on their fine performance. It's more just time to shake things up a little bit.
And Patillo Brown has done the audit before. In fact, if you recall, prior to this engagement with Long and Chilton, it was Patillo Brown. So
that's correct.
The next item discussed was fees for fiscal year 09 audit. Dr. Moore stated that the district reported 2 additional grants, that being the Texas Workforce Commission Skills Development Grant and the U.S. Department of Commerce Economic Development Agency EDA grant in fiscal year 09, which required additional compliance testing and review. Total fees stated in the contract are $32,035. However, consideration of additional fees in the amount of $6,200 for the audit and compliance testing of the additional grants has been requested. Staff is recommending payment for the additional services performed. The committee therefore recommends that I move to approve additional fees of $6,200 for audit services performed for this fiscal year 09 audit as presented.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Campidano and the second by Mr. Torres to approve the, I'm sorry, Mr. Gonzalez. You're sitting next to me. I used to make fun of Chester when he'd do that, and now I'm there too. But moved by Mr. Gonzalez, seconded by Mr. Torres. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Next item discussed was an approval of budget amendment fiscal year 2010. The staff request for budget amendment 10-004 to adjust expenditures in the general fund. The budget amendments necessary to cover expenditures through the year end. So the committee recommends that I move to approve budget amendment 10-004 for fiscal year 2010 as presented.
go ahead. I have a question.
Okay. There's a motion by Mr. Gonzalez. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Dr. Robles. Mr. Campidano,
The
you have
only
a question?
question I have is, where's the amendment? I mean,
The actual amendment?
The actual 10-4. We did 5 through 8 or 5 through 9, but where is that?
amendment.
Should be,
Is that part of the,
It might be in there.
It's under the audit.
okay.
yeah, it's right
Behind the
there.
audit
Yeah,
fund?
it's right here on the last page.
See the second page after the blue sheet.
The last page before you get to district completion.
There it is.
Does that satisfy? Okay. It's been, I'm sorry, moved by Mr. Gonzalez, seconded by Mr. Todes. All those in favor? Second by Dr. Robles. All those in favor? You've been kind of quiet.
The final item discusses a report by Dr. Moore regarding change in management. Dr. Moore reported that the Office of Internal Audits will conduct an audit of partnership affairs since there has been a change of management. Internal audits will review the internal controls of the Office of Partnership Affairs regarding the control environment, segregation of duties, approvals, and authorizations, safeguarding assets, and monitoring to provide reasonable assurance that existing internal controls in departments are adequate. Also, they will provide reference materials and guidance that will assist new administrators in developing an adequate system of internal controls in their department. That concludes my final report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. The next item on the agenda is a construction report by Veronica Mendez.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, President Garcia. We have some projects going on, and we're happy to report on them tonight. The Oliveira, we start with the Oliveira Library and the progress and the construction there. As you know, we have some renovation going on in the interior, and we also have some upgrades to the infrastructure, elevator, electrical panels, some of the things that happened over the weekend as well. You can see the progress in the interior. We did also connect the air conditioning units, and so we have air flowing through. That has been connected to our thermal plant, so we're pleased to report on that important milestone as we move forward. And so we soon will begin working on the floor and finishing out that space. We have opened all of the parking spaces around that area for use. All of the landscape is completed. We have temporary lighting going on, but we will bring the final lighting for those parking lots within the 30-day period for the closeout of the project. A project that we hadn't reported before in terms of progress or almost completed is, you may recall that you approved 2 additional racquetball courts at the rec center, and all of the casings are in, so we're just finishing out the floor, and they will be completed by the end of the month. So soon, in June, we will have 4 racquetball courts completed for use by our students, and I think they're going to have a tournament in June, so that's why we had a deadline. Progress continues in the Calvary building in terms of our finish outs. We also did some electrical upgrades and changed some panels over a weekend there. As you can see, we're doing a lot of the repointing and the brickwork outside. It's just marvelous work done by our physical plant employees here, just kind of bringing that back together as we had some major deterioration on those walls. On the athletic zone, all of the connections back to our main water line and our sewer lines are completed to date. As you can see in the video, some of the progress has been going on in terms of the connections there, but we are back now to permanent water and connected back to the sewer. As you can see, by far is the building for the restrooms. Our sidewalk is completed, and the prep work for the field is coming along. You can start seeing some of the flags placed there for the irrigation system. We will then begin installing brick on that facility, and so you'll see some of the progress in that restrooms as well. Science and Technology Learning Center, we're at the stage that everything looks the same. So you continue to see some of the progress on the outside. The waterproofing is coming up. As soon as we finish the waterproofing, we'll start with the brick and the installation around the facility. We are 50% completed on the roof. And so it's an important milestone to continue. You'll see all of the air handling units that you see on the 3rd floor of the Emergency Response Center. And so that continues as well. We are on target as we move forward to completing in a year from today. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Veronica. Next item on the agenda is the President's report, and I'll call on Dr. Juliet Garcia to make that report.
And I simply have one item and, two items that I will report on very quickly. One, of course, is that we did have a successful commencement, and the rain held off because angels abound, I think, and so we graduated over 900 students at commencement. Together with the number of students that we graduated in December, that means that this university has graduated 2,100 students with degrees and certificates. It really was a wonderful event. Dr. Luis Ubiñas, who's the president of the Ford Foundation, arrived late Friday night to become our speaker on Saturday, and he was really quite taken with the hospitality of the community and the sincereness of the students and the parents and the many who attended graduation. Also, Dr. David Pryor, who is the UT System Executive Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs, and his wife, Annie, traveled to be with us, along with a couple of other guests from the UT System. We had many firsts that night, but the most important was the first graduate from our pre-architecture program, Ana Gaitán, and she is now headed off to the architecture program at UT San Antonio. So we're very pleased that that's an associate degree that we started a couple of years ago. Well, no, actually 1 year ago. But she had already gone through the drafting program, so she had taken many of her courses. So we send our first student now to UT San Antonio, launched to their architecture school. This, of course, is in preparation for someday having our own architecture program here at UT Brownsville. And then, of course, the other big news has to do with athletics. Our Scorpion baseball team has had its best season since we joined NAIA. We have won 30 games. That's spectacular. We placed a close second in the Red River Athletic Conference, and this qualified us for the first time for the NAIA National Baseball Championship opening round. We begin play Tuesday, and that's tomorrow, in Lubbock. There are 9 opening round sites around the country. We're the 5th seeded team out of the 5 teams in Lubbock, but we're in. And so we like for you to wish our gentlemen a good game. That concludes my report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Dr. Garcia.
Could I just add one thing?
Sure.
This is late-breaking news that maybe the president wasn't even aware of it, but today we discovered that we were named the All Sports Award by the NAIA as the best
all-around
athletic program in the whole conference. We just found out this afternoon.
Fantastic.
Always feel free to interrupt when you. That concludes our.
Mr. Torres, was that the news you were going to share with us? Okay. Thank you. That is fantastic. Yeah.
Beat me to it.
That's fantastic. The next item on the agenda is the district election, and we need to, as everybody knows, unless you were living in a cave, the TSC Board of Trustees held an election for place 3, 4, and 5 on May 8th. 2010, and we have the unofficial canvas that's attached. And at this time, I need a motion to approve the canvassing the results of the Texas Southmost College district election as presented.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Gonzalez. Second. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Torres. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The next item, we have to do this in order. It's required by law. So the next item on the agenda is the order declaring results of the Texas Southwest College district election, and I have to read this whole order, so I'll do it quick. On the 17th day of May 2010, the Board of Trustees of Texas Southwest College District convened a regular session open to the public with the following members present: David Oliveda, Chair; Eduardo Campirano, Vice Chair; Roberto Robles, Secretary; Adela Garza, Rene Torres, Chester Gonzalez, and Rosemary Breedlove. Constituting a quorum, among other proceedings had by said Board of Trustees, was the following. There came on to be considered the returns of the election held on the 8th of May 2010, for the purpose of electing the members, 3 members, to the Board of Trustees, and said returns of said elections have been duly canvassed by the Board of Trustees, and each of the candidates in said election received the following votes, to wit: Robert Lopez, 2,979 for place 3. Robert Lozano, 3,029 also for place 3. Eduardo Rodriguez, 2,605 for place 4. Trey Mendez, 3,571 for place 4. Francisco Kiko Rendon, 2,567 for place 5. Rene Coronado, 1,013 also for place 5. And finally, Rosemary Breedlove, 2,686 votes for place 5. It is therefore found and declared and so ordered by the Board of Trustees of Texas Southwest College District that the above trustee election was duly called, that notice of said election was duly posted, and that said election was held in accordance with the law, that at said election, Robert A. Lozano, place 3, and Trey Mendez, place 4, were duly elected to the Board of Trustees of said Texas Southwest College District, subject to taking their oaths. According to the election results, Francisco Kiko Rendon and Rosemary Breedlove must engage in a runoff election for place 5, scheduled for June 12, 2010. And I'll entertain a motion at this time to approve the order declaring the results.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Campiano. Is there a second? Second by Ms. Garza. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. That was a lot of reading. Okay, let's see what the next one is. The next item is to set a date and time for drawing on for a place on the ballot. And this is the, let me see if I have to read this. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, the next item is the notice and order of a runoff election.
One before
Oh, did I missed it? Okay.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Okay. Yes, you're right. I stand corrected. The next item is the notice and order of a runoff election, place 5. And at this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve the notice and order of the runoff election set for June 12th.
Mr. Chairman, there are a couple of changes to what's in your packet that I need to bring to your attention.
Absolutely, Dr. Moore.
One is just a change in Los Fresnos because of a conflict in the location, and that's changing from the Los Fresnos Community Center to the City Hall. I understand it's right next door. There's a conflict, and so that change needs to be noted for the regular June 12th election. So that, I want to be sure that gets into the record so that we get that in there. The second change, and that has to do with another conflict at the Brownsville Navigation District. We have a conflict there for early voting. So I'm suggesting that place for early voting be deleted. I just learned that today, and so wanted to report that to you. And finally, one other suggestion is to, because of that change and others, the early voting site, add an early voting site at South Padre Island. We have a regular voting site at South Padre Island. We did not have one at South Padre Island because we did not do a joint election with them at the regular election. So those 3 changes for your consideration in making the notice and order runoff election. Everything else remains exactly the same.
Thank you, Dr. Moore.
Where is it going to be at South Padre Island?
Pardon me?
Where is the location for South Padre Island?
It's the same place as the regular election, 4601 South Padre Boulevard.
City Hall,
it is the City Hall. I think.
City Hall? But I have a question.
Yes, sir.
In these changes, do you have to get pre-clearance from the Justice Department before you make them? Just out of curiosity?
No, sir, I don't believe so.
Okay.
Not, that's not according to Mr. Ortiz. That's
Okay.
who we're checking with.
All right, just checking.
Okay.
I'll abstain from that.
Okay. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve the notice and order of the runoff election.
I'll move.
Moved by Mr. Gonzalez. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Dr. Robles. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now we can get to set the date and time for a drawing for a place on the ballot. At this time, I believe we're set up right now to hold a drawing for a place on the TSC district ballot for the runoff election. And at this time, I'll entertain a motion to hold that drawing. I guess it'll be held tomorrow. Is that correct?
May 18th.
Yeah, as presented.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Torres. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Garza. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Well, we've come to that point of the meeting that I was kind of dreading it, but I'll call on before we get to I guess to saying all the nice things that we want to about our two longtime friends. I'll call on Dr. Garcia to introduce a video on Mr. Campirano.
We have some wonderful folks on this campus who prepare videos. Letty Fernandez and her staff have done it again. They prepared two marvelous videos. We'd like to thank them for all the work that they did to collect up photographs and memories and interview people and present to you the following two commemorative videos on our retiring trustees.
It's been very quick. I mean, you kind of, sit back and think back, and it just seems like it just all flew by. You can just see in the last 10 years the transformation, the opportunities that our students have now in terms of academic opportunities, in terms of career choice opportunities, and just constantly amazed of just the wonderful things and the brilliance of our students, given the right setting, given the tools, given the opportunities. I mean, they can compete with anybody in this universe, and so that's been pretty special to watch that.
Think of all the firsts that TSC has given me in my life. First one who ever went to school beyond high school, first one who ever graduated, first one ever played on a baseball team, first one ever held elected office. I mean, there's so many firsts. And you know what? I want to be part of the first group of people who have led this institution into the 21st century.
To me, the most special project of all the bond projects is the rec center. I swear, the first time I walked into it, it was so spiritual. I mean, I almost cried. I mean, it was, without a doubt, I know that facility is going to get used so much and really be part of building that whole legacy of being, building a campus and building a campus, community. I graduated from high school in 1973, so my fall semester of '73 was the first time I attended Texas Southmost College. And I guess if there's anything special about that is that, I wanted to go and play baseball. And actually had an opportunity and had some inquiries from possibly leaving Brownsville to go play baseball elsewhere. And my mother died in 1973, so it was my dad and I really didn't want to leave my dad. And Texas Southmost didn't have a baseball team. I remember calling and setting up a meeting and going to see him, and we told him our story, that we wanted to play baseball. And I remember he said, Eddie, give me a couple of weeks and I'll get back with you. But true to his word, Dr. Oliveira, I guess, did some things, and then a couple of weeks later called me and said, we're going to have a baseball team. I love graduation. I don't think I've missed a graduation in all my years. Single moms, working full time and raising a family, but still getting their college education, or parents or aunts and uncles or grandparents, that have really sacrificed. Every one of them are special for us, whether it's the certificate degree, the bachelor's, the associate, it doesn't matter. It's somebody in the family's the first time is taking that big step, and so it's just really, really special to see that and to hear those stories. My wife has been probably the biggest reason in my whole life that I have some element of being grounded. But they've always been supportive, and sometimes there's conflicts. Sometimes you spend more time away from home than you spend with your own family, and so it's a balancing act. But I think too that I guess the other thing is can we pass that on to our kids and make them understand that that they have to have a sense of service. think in the end it was always, are we making the best decision, the right decision, and what's in the best interest of the university, what's in the best interest of the Texas Southmost College, what's in the best interest of the students, and ultimately what's in the best interest of the community. And I think we've always kind of had this understanding that that's been the guiding principle, and that's been pretty awesome and be part of serving on a board. We all work hard, heart's in the right place, and try to do the right thing. Probably the highlight of my civic activity is certainly being a trustee of Texas Southmost College. That has been very special. Truly has been an honor. Truly has been an honor.
Guys, this is your last meeting with Mr. Campirano. I'll give all of y'all an opportunity to, guys and girls, I'm sorry, to say a few things. Rosemary?
Well, really, speaking to both of them, Chester and Eddie, it's been a great honor to serve with you both. You're truly professional, honest, and committed community servants. You've always been respectful, polite, and hardworking trustees, and our community is fortunate that you were willing to serve. After working with you for the past 12 years, I know that you'll always have the interest of this university and community in mind. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, both of you. We'll miss you a great deal. Thank you.
Thank you, Rosemary. Candela?
What can I say? When I came to the board, since I wasn't picked, I was elected. And it was a strange feeling to come into a board that had been worked together all the time. And Chester, you made me feel comfortable and at home. And I thank you for that. And so did you, Eddie. You made me feel like I belonged and gave me the support that I needed when I felt that I needed some extra help. And I thank you for answering my calls all the time. I really appreciate it. And I really, truly honor to work with you guys.
Well, I share the same sentiments as my trustees here next to me, and it's been a wonderful working with you, Eddie. The advances that you see here, and I'm speaking to Dr. Lozano and Trey, Mr. Trey Mendez. It didn't happen by accident. They happened for because of three major reasons. One is a spirit of cooperation, a spirit of respect for one another, and I know that we've disagreed at times and agreed and disagreed, but we always treated each other with respect. And lastly was that we all shared the same vision. We've always wanted to advance the school to its highest levels that it can achieve, and this is because of your work and your dedication. And I thank Belinda and your family for lending you to us all these years. And again, from the bottom of my heart, being a cardiologist, I thank you.
No pun intended. Huh?
No pun intended. Thank you,
Mr. Torres.
Simply, I speak to both of you. Thank you for your service. I know that when you serve 12 and 18 years respectfully, when you get elected to a position such as this, your family gets elected as well. Now, I know you spent hundreds and hundreds of hours away from your wife and your family and your kids. And your commitment, your consistent commitment to this university is well documented. This institution, no doubtly, is better off because of your commitment. And again, simply want to thank you for the many years of consistent and dedicated service to not only to this institution, but to the community as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Rene.
Dr. Garcia.
I would just like to say that I thank you also for for growing up together, I guess, is what we've done, and to help the university grow together. it's never been about any one of us. It's always been about the mission that we were asked and privileged to take part in. So I thank you sincerely for helping us think harder about issues with Mr. Capirano. And we sat around as we briefed each other on topics, and somebody would say, what is Mr. Capirano going to ask? And that was like the high test in financial issues. And so we would all try to anticipate the toughest questions that we would get from you. And that made us work harder, and we thank you for that discipline and that rigor. But you did, but you showed us also the other side, and that is your love for game and athletics, and for our students, and developing the whole of the student. And we thank you for that balance, and we thank you for teaching us to pay attention to that balance. Chester, Mr. Chairman, some people will always be known as our chair, and they earn it. You know, if you've been a president, a sitting president, you're always called president, and been sitting governor, you've always been called governor, and so to us, you'll always be our chairman. I have used you and during the toughest of times with Chertoff and Udorf and Bergdorf and all of those. Those tested us to the very core and required that we decide how far we could go. And I remember a couple of meetings, and we said, let it rip, and we will take it as far as we need to. Those were tough and courageous decisions to make, and you were unwavering, and you were honest, and you were courageous. And so I thank you for helping me be the same as much as I could, and holding it all together during those kind of lonely moments. Thank you. I appreciate your friendship, both, and look forward to continue to seek your advice as we move forward. Thank you very much.
Chairman's prerogative. I'm gonna go last, and I'm gonna tell you two quick stories.
Before,
yes,
I don't know. I thought we were gonna do another video, or
well, we are, but I just wanted to say a few words before, and we will. We are going to do another video. Two stories I think that remind me of you two guys. But number one, Eddie, when we were looking for a replacement, we needed somebody with strong financial background, and everybody talked about your tenure as city manager at South Padre or at PUB and then at Time Warner, all those places, but that's not what I remember. What I remembered was being 12 years old, walking into Stell Elementary, the gymnasium, and the dressing room, and there was a line of 30 kids, 30 boys, waiting to get to look into this little box, and Eddie Capirano was at the front of the line. He had taken a Bounty paper towel holder, the middle cylinder. He'd put a picture of some girl in a bikini, I think, the other end, a little peephole, and he was charging a nickel. I went through that line 3 times and bought Mr. Capirano an English racer, and so when I was thinking about we need somebody with financial experience, that's a story I remember. All kidding aside, you've been an incredible asset to this board. Somebody's that have to step up in your place. It may be a while before they do, and I also blame you, hold you responsible for a lot of the weight I've gained, because this band can cook like nobody else at the Deer Lease, and also build all those wonderful brownies that you made us during those times, and we will miss you and always hold a very special place. Chester, one of my fondest memories of our time together is at that retreat in Bernie, Texas. Do you remember it? They stuck us out in Bernie, Texas. It must have been 110 degrees outside, and these cabins that had no televisions, there was no phones, and Chester and I were going nuts, and one night we just said, let's just get the heck out of here. And we drove into San Antonio, and we borrowed a car from somebody, and we went to Papados. And I remember, sneaking out. And that was during some tumultuous times that we were trying to decide whether to become or to ask the legislature, ask the coordinating board to become a 4-year university. And I remember that night we talked about it, and we had lots of good times. But that's the time I'll always treasure and remember. And I also would like to thank you for your service on the board and in your role as chair. You're a great leader, and we will miss you sorely. And I think now we're going to make a presentation I think we're going to do the separate. Yeah, let's show the second video first, and we'll do the two together. That makes more sense. Yeah, at this time, I guess we have a video from Mr. Gonzalez.
I just turned 40, when I came on board the first time. Now I'm 58.
Oh my God.
And it's a little bit overwhelming at the beginning to understand that you got some big shoes to fill. And so it was definitely a learning experience. I've been a witness to a lot. I remember when I came in 91, the partnership agreement had just begun. And so people were walking around not knowing what to expect from the partnership. And the transition between TSC and UTB and the partnership was one that was very difficult for a lot of people. So it was very interesting seeing the transition, the metamorphosis of the agreement that we had back then with what the needs of the community are today. My image of TSC campus begins in 1969 when I was a freshman on campus. And I can really honestly say that between 69 and 91, the changes were few.
Is bond election important? Yes, it is. This bond election will impact on their lives. And they have dreams like we had dreams.
It makes me feel very proud that I've been a part of this. Sometimes on Sundays when I've got nothing to do, I can bring my dad, or I brought my brother at a time when he was ill, just to tour the campus to show him exactly what we had on here. And the expression that I always get would be, wow, I can't believe this, that you guys have done this. So it makes me very proud to know that this is a major campus, and it's beautiful, and it fits all the student needs that we have.
Good afternoon. Let me call to order the...
I served as the chairman, I believe, 6 years. I do. Remember my first meeting, I was petrified, scared. And, remember, I think I followed Mrs. Cardenas. How do you follow an act like that? And, if someone was a role model to me, it's Mary Rose Cardenas. And to this day, I cannot call her Mary Rose, I call her Mrs. Cardenas. Leadership, how to do what's best for the university, and how to respect people. And she was just a major impact in my life.
Texas Southmost College trustee Chester Gonzalez will present diplomas on behalf of Texas Southmost College and the University of Texas at Brownsville.
I told Dr. Garcia that the icing on the cake for me is when I attend commencement. That's when you see all the success stories with their parents, really enjoying the limelight of graduation. Because we've all been there, where we come from humble beginnings, and now you've got the key by means of education to try to grab that brass ring and excel in life. So to me, that's the most fulfilling moments of its commencement, especially the first commencement, when I realized, my God, this is how important higher education is to our community. The most important thing that you can support in this community is higher education, your community college. It is the solution to every problem that you may have. I saw it in my life, I saw it in the life of my friends, the life of people that I know. Without a higher ed diploma, you're gonna have a tough time in life. Vanessa's 17 and she's off to college in a year, and my twins Victor and Victoria are 8. So I figured 8 plus 6 is 14, and so the term of an election is 6 years, and so I figured, I need to spend more time with my kids. There are times when I leave home, they're still in bed. I come back from meetings, they're now in bed again, so I miss that important bonding with them. This is the best board ever, okay? This is probably my belief the most important board that this community has. And so it makes decisions that are so important. To me, it's giving kids or students an opportunity to succeed in college. I'm gonna miss being on this board, I'm going to miss Dr. Garcia. I became very close to her. I'm going to miss all my fellow board members, and I'm going to miss coming to meetings, believe it or not. I will miss this room here. It's been a pleasure, it's been an honor to serve on this board, and I will always cherish my memories.
Naturally, we wouldn't let you leave without giving you something, and so first I'll start with, I guess, Mr. Campiano. Because of your two loves, the budget and baseball, we thought about, not necessarily in that order either, right? We thought about giving you a new calculator, but nah, we didn't think that worked, and so instead we came up with a better idea. You may need help with a second. The first one is your very own custom-made jersey.
You can wear that on Spirit Day, I think. Woo, yes. Oh, that looks great. You can turn it around, I can hang it either way. Yeah, there it is.
I think that we can put that at Hooters in McAllen.
Roberto, his wife is here. Come on.
Just kidding, Belinda.
I guess if I may, I'd just like to say one thing.
Absolutely.
I know we've had an opportunity to kind of share our stories and express gratitude. But, you know, one thing I haven't said, and that's really say thank you to the community for the opportunity to serve. And it's without the community who, you know, had the privilege of serving that I wouldn't be here. It goes without saying what my feeling is for each and every one of you. I'm like Chester. You know, kind of dreaded this day, and then it's here, and let's move on. But at the same time, I'm going to miss it. I'm going to miss it immensely. But I know in my heart that everybody who is going to be part of this board going forward is going to do the best they can for the institution and for our students and ultimately for our community. So God bless you all, and thank you for the privilege of not only befriending you, which is the most important part of all, but serving you as well. Thank you. Thank you.
Chester, don't worry, we're not leaving you out. And because of your long service to the board, and particularly your 6 years as chairman of this board, we also have a token of appreciation for your years of service to the TSC board. And yours is not as heavy as Eddie's, but it's still a wonderful gift.
Thanks for presents. Wow.
Not a cigar, Casey. I'll let you open it.
Thank you, a gavel. I have my own gavel. I want to thank everyone that has helped me through my trajectory on this board. Dr. Garcia, how much you mean to this board and how much you mean to me. I thank you for your service, your wisdom, your friendship. This board is certainly the best board that anyone can serve. We're here with all the best intentions for our children, so that they can have the higher education, have all the opportunities that we've had. And so Like I said on Friday, it's not about me. It's about those that help me do what I do, and that goes from, Kim, Wayne, Chip, Dr. Galone, Veronica, Chris, Max, everyone that's part of this family, that we all work together, mesh together, and we do things together. And so I thank you for your assistance in allowing me to do my job. I can't go without thanking the one woman that's always there for me. That's my wife, Janet. My children are here too. My kids are here. Victor, Victoria, and they're asleep like they do in church. But Vanessa's studying for final exams. She has tomorrow at St. Joseph's Academy. But it's without her support, I wouldn't be able to have done this. And I can go home right now. Probably. but I'm still not very far away from any phone calls that you may have, so I can at least be part, continue to be part of this great organization. Again, thank you, Dr. Ortiz, Marilyn Woods, Dr. Jose Martin, Rosemary, just Marty, everybody. I don't want to miss names, but I just want to tell you how much I care for you and how much I love you guys, and I'm going to miss you, but I'm not very far away. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chester.
I do also want to, Mr. Chair, to thank for their future service, Dr. Roberto Lozano and Mr. Trey Mendez. They're very courageous in running for this board, and I wish them success.
I did not address Mr. Chester Gonzalez, but I also want to again thank Janet also for lending Chester all these years to us. As you can see, the tremendous work that he has helped achieve here. But I just wanted to say that one of the most important things that I feel the job that you helped us with is with the legal language and the amount of work that we have to do to read through these pages, and you just cut through the chase and you help get to the point. And I always felt assured when you were there looking through these documents is very, very important to us. So when I think of you, I think you kind of separate things. If I think of heaven and hell, well, you're in heaven. If I think of good and bad, you're in good. And so given that feeling that I have for you, I'd like to see if maybe you can run for mayor.
Knowing his wife, I don't think that's going to happen.
Dr. Lopez, thank you for your kind words. When I think of you, I think about cholesterol medication, losing weight, don't eat rice.
No tortillas, no rice.
Thank you, Roberto.
Thank you, Doctor. We, on the agenda also is proposed meeting dates. Take a look at them, June through the rest of the year. We're going to take a short recess to reconvene, and don't worry, I'm going to keep everybody here to take pictures. Kim's looking at me, you forgot the pictures. But we're going to take a short recess to reconvene in the Art Center auditorium to administer the oath of office to our newly elected trustees. And so we'll reconvene over there in about 5 to 10 minutes. We're going to, I asked the trustees to stay and take some quick pictures, and then we will be over there shortly. I will now reconvene the meeting of the Texas Southmost College Board of Trustees. At this time, the next item on our agenda, and I want to thank everybody for patiently waiting. We had some goodbyes to do to Eddie and Chester, and so it took a little longer, but it was needed. At this time, we will administer the oath of office to the newly elected members. Tonight, we are swearing in 2 new members for 6-year terms to the Board of Trustees of the Texas Southmost College District. Dr. Robert Lozano, place 3, and Mr. Trey Mendez, place 4. First, let me tell you a few words about Dr. Lozano. Dr. Lozano is a graduate of the University of Texas at Austin. He joined the Army and served as an infantry officer advising South Vietnamese troops from 1970 to 1971. He obtained his MA in PhD from Wayne State University in speech and language pathology. He has published research in language recovery after brain injury, and he has also received his MD from Michigan State University and practiced neurology for over 20 years in Brownsville and Corpus Christi. Presently, he is the Vice President for Medical Affairs for Valley Baptist Medical Center, Brownsville, and Dr. Lozano is married to Crisanta Lozano and resides in Brownsville. Dr. Lozano is here with us tonight. I'm going to ask him to come forward along with the Honorable Judge Felix Recio, who will administer the oath of office.
You ready, Doctor?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Thank you for inviting me to be here and administer this oath. It's an honor for me.
It's an honor for me.
Would you please raise your right hand and repeat after me? I,
Robert Lozano,
do solemnly swear
that
I will faithfully execute the duties of the office
of
Texas Southmost College District Position 3
of Texas Southmost District Position 3
of the state of Texas,
and
will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States and of this state.
the Constitution of the United States and of this state.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Our second new trustee is Mr. Trey Mendez. Trey was born and raised in Brownsville. He's a hometown product. His proud mother is Yolanda Serrata Mendez, who has also resided in Brownsville her entire life. Trey earned his this is not in the script, but I know Trey's a Porter High School grad and maybe our first Porter High grad on the board. So, and he also earned his Bachelor of Arts degree at UTB TSC in 2002. While at UTB TSC, he was a member of the Scorpion golf team and sports editor of the Collegian Student newspaper. He went on to receive his Juris Doctorate degree at the University of Texas in 2005. At the time of his acceptance to UT Law in 2002, Trey Mendez, was only the second UTB TSC alum to have been accepted to the prestigious law school. During his 3 years in Austin, Mr. Mendez was instrumental in encouraging other UTB TSC students to attend the law school. And at this time, I'd ask Mr. Mendez to come forward along with the Honorable Judge David Sanchez, who will administer the oath of office.
It's an honor and a privilege for me to be here this evening to administer this oath to you, Trey. This is a great accomplishment, and I know you're the right person for the job. I'm not going to say man, because there are definitely ladies up here that know how to do the job as well and have done it. But it's a lot of responsibility. You guys have a multi-million-dollar budget that you oversee, and that means a lot of duty to taxpayers to make sure that you guys get the job done right, and I know you're going to do a good job. So please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Trey Mendez.
I, Trey Mendez.
Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
That I will faithfully execute the duties.
That I will faithfully execute the duties.
Of the office of Texas Southmost College.
Of the office of Texas Southmost College.
District Position 4 of the state of Texas.
District Position 4 of the state of Texas.
And will to the best of my ability.
And will to the best of my ability.
Preserve, protect, and defend.
Preserve, protect, and defend.
The Constitution and laws of the United States and of this state.
The Constitution and laws of the United States and of this state.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
At this time, I'd like to ask, I guess, both of you guys to come up and say a few words. Dr. Lozano, come on up.
Well, thank you, and thank you for coming this evening for this. It's a very important occasion in our lives, and we're very pleased to share this part with you. Thank you very much. And I am perhaps a person of a few words, and if I'm not, just remind me about that. I'm not a politician, but I'm out here to serve you. I feel like I'm a servant of the district and of the students. And today at the board meeting, I was hearing Mr. Campiano say a few words about his experiences, and also Mr. Gonzalez was talking about his experiences being on the board. And between them, you're talking about 30 years of experience, if I'm correct. And the thing that I really took away, one of the stories I heard was, we're giving our kids here in this area, the tools to grow. We are providing them the tools to move on. Giving the tools, they're able to compete with anyone, and we're seeing that in their graduates, and they had stories after stories that we've seen. We actually had presentations from two of the graduates that are going on to law school in different law schools. And it's very touching, given the tools that they can do that. So we have the talent in our kids. The talent is there. The desire to learn is there. The desire to achieve is there. And we have to provide those tools. And that's what I see myself as a trustee is doing, making sure that our kids and our students, because they're not all kids, have those tools. Thank you.
Well, the doctor's speech was short. I think mine might be shorter, but I sometimes have a tendency to be long-winded, so if I see a flashlight in the back there, I think I'll cut myself off. But it really, really is a huge, huge honor to be here before everybody today. The last several months have really gone by so quickly. I still remember when I went to the district office to actually file my paperwork to run for trustee. I had actually thought about doing it for several years, ever since I actually left the university. I always wanted to give back to my community. I thought I was in a good position to do that. I feel like I can relate to a lot of the students. I feel like I can relate to the community. I'm a product of this community. I came from humble beginnings. Like David said, I went to Porter High School, and I think it's been renamed La Porter since then. But I graduated from Porter. I graduated from here, this really great institution, in 2002. I went to a great law school in 2005, came back to serve my community. I've been practicing law for 5 years, and it's taught me a lot. I've been involved in the decision-making process for several years. I'm fortunate enough to be on quite a few boards, and people have always trusted me to do the right thing. And when I decided to run, I felt that I was in a good position to lead this university into the future and really be able to make the hard decisions that we need to make to ensure the success of our community and ensure the future of our community. And it really, like I said, it's really an honor. Like I've said in my campaign, it wasn't about me. It's always been about the constituents. It's always been about the community, the taxpayers, and most of all the student. The student is my focus on this board. I want to make sure that everything that's done is done in the best interest of the students. And I really look forward to serving. Thank you, everybody, very much. The next 6 years are going to be long, but they probably will go by very quickly. And I hope that at the end of it, everybody can say that I've done a good job, and I hope I can say the same thing. And when the time comes, I'll see if I'll do it again. Thank you very much.
I know both these gentlemen very well, and Dr. Lozano, I had the privilege of standing in for him at his wedding, and his wife is my law partner. So I was pleased when he told me he wanted to run and wanted to serve on the board. Trey, I've known as a lawyer, a very well-respected, well-liked lawyer. I was pleased also that when he decided to run, but About 3 months ago, I joined Facebook, and I thought I was too old to join Facebook. And you learn a lot of things about people. And one of the things I learned about Trey was the night he won. I think he posted something that said, I can't believe I'm actually on the Texas Southmost College Board of Trustees. And it brought a little tear to my eye, because I remember that's the way I felt when I got there. I got a little lump in my throat. And so Trey, welcome. Robert, welcome. I know you guys are going to do a great job. And I'd also like to thank the 2 outgoing trustees who gave us years of service, a total of 30 combined. And I think at the banquet the other night, the reception honoring on Friday night, I tried to total up the amount of hours that Chester had put in his 19 years, and I had said 3,000, and I got corrected. It was over. That was at least 4,000 or 5,000. So, and it probably was. So thank you very much for the great service, Eddie. You as well. And at this time, I'm going to ask everybody to join us for a reception in the lobby celebrating our 2 new trustees. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Been moved and seconded. We stand adjourned. Thank you all.